You could be holding a fortune and not even know it. These 3 ultra-rare Washington quarters are worth hundreds of thousands, some even more. From shocking mint errors to hidden treasures, stay tuned to see which coins could turn your spare change into life-changing money. Have you ever checked the change in your pocket and thought, it's just a quarter? Well, what if I told you that one quarter from 1983? Yes, just a regular-looking 25-cent coin has sold for over $66,000, with some rare versions going for $87,000, and even $110,000 at auction. That's right. A coin you could have spent on a gumball might just be worth more than a brand new luxury car. This isn't a joke, this is real. And in this video, we're going to tell you exactly what makes the 1983 P Washington quarter so special, how you can spot one of these rare treasures, and why you should start checking your spare change today. Back in 1983, things were tough at the US Mint. There was a coin shortage in the early 1980s, and to keep up with demand, the Mint pushed its machines harder than ever. Quarters were being made quickly, and quality control wasn't always perfect. On top of that, the Mint had stopped producing mint sets for collectors between 1982 and 1983. That means there were no uncirculated collector sets for 1983, and the only way people could get 1983 quarters was from regular circulation. This made high-quality 1983 quarters very hard to find, and that alone gives them some collector value. But that's not all. Some 1983 quarters, especially those from the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P, came out with rare and serious minting errors. These mistakes were not supposed to happen, and because so few of these error coins exist, they've become incredibly valuable to coin collectors. We're talking about coins that sold for more than $66,000. And even as high as $110,000. One of the most famous errors from 1983 is known as the double die reverse. This means the back of the coin, the side with the eagle, was struck twice, but not quite in the same place. When you look closely, the letters like E pluribus unum and parts of the eagle's feathers look doubled or blurry. But it's not damage or where this doubling happened during minting. And collectors go crazy for coins with strong doubling. One rare example of a 1983 P Washington quarter with a double die reverse, in mint state, sold for over $66,000. Another went for more than $87,000. And experts believe an even better preserved one could fetch up to $110,000 in the right auction. That's not the only kind of valuable 1983 P error. Another rare type is called a struck on wrong planchet error. That's when a quarter is accidentally made using the metal blank for a different coin like a nickel, a penny, or even a foreign coin. When that happens, the size, weight, and color might be off. Some of these coins look completely different, and their mistake makes them super rare. One example of a 1983 P quarter struck on a 10-cent planchet sold for several $1,000s. If one was found in perfect mint condition, it could easily reach the $20,000 to $40,000 range, and even more if it's unique. But here's where it gets even better. Because of the missing mint sets in 1983, collectors have trouble finding high-grade coins. Most of the 1983 quarters you see are beat up, scratched, or worn out. So when a mint condition 1983 P quarter shows up with a mint error, it's like hitting the jackpot. A rare coin, plus a mint error, plus top condition. That's a recipe for big money. So how do you know if you have a valuable 1983 P quarter? First, look at the front of the coin. Make sure it says 1983 and has a small P above the date, meaning it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. That's the version with the most valuable errors. Then turn it over and look very carefully at the back, especially the words and the eagle. If anything looks doubled, if the letters are thick or blurry, or if the eagle's feathers look off, you could have a double die reverse. Next, check the coin's weight. A normal 1983 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If it weighs a lot more or less, it could have been struck on the wrong planchet. That's a rare and valuable error. If the coin is lighter, like around 2.5 grams, it might be a copper penny planchet. If it's smaller in diameter, it might be a dime blank. You can find small coin scales online for cheap. They're easy to use and can make a huge difference. And here's a big tip: never clean the coin. A cleaned coin loses value, even if it's rare. If you think your coin is special, handle it gently by the edges and get it looked at by a professional. Coin grading companies like PCGS or NGC can confirm if your coin is real, grade its condition, and give it the attention it deserves. They're trusted by collectors and can turn your spare change into a real investment. What's amazing is that people have found these valuable 1983 P quarters in the most normal places: coin jars, pocket change, old collections, and even in bank coin rolls. You don't need to be rich or lucky. You just need to know what to look for. These coins are already out there, waiting to be found. And with values hitting up to $110,000, it's worth checking every 1983 quarter you come across. The US Mint never meant for these rare errors to happen. But because they did, we now have some of the most valuable modern coins in US history. And the 1983 P Washington quarter is one of the kings. It looks like an ordinary coin, but if it has the right error and is in good shape, it's a hidden treasure. So, the next time someone gives you change, look twice. That 25-cent coin could be worth more than a college education. Did you know that a regular-looking quarter from 1966 could be worth more than $88,000? Some of these coins have even sold for as much as $90,000 or even $119,000. That's right. A simple 25-cent coin that people often ignore in their pocket change has sold for the kind of money people use to buy luxury cars or even a house. If that sounds unbelievable, just wait. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and who knows, you might just have one of these rare coins sitting in your drawer right now. Let's go back in time for a second. In 1966, things were very different in the world of coins. Just a year before, in 1965, the US government decided to remove silver from quarters because silver prices were getting too high. Before that, quarters were made with 90% silver. But starting in 1965, the mint started using a cheaper mix of copper and nickel. That's already a big change. But 1966 had even more surprises. The mint was so busy in trying to make so many coins that they left off the little mint marks, the tiny letters you usually see on coins like D or S. So, all 1966 quarters look like they were made in the same place, even though they weren't. Now here's where it gets exciting. Because of all the changes and rush during that time, some major mistakes happened at the mint. These are called error coins. And believe it or not, those mistakes can make the coin worth thousands of dollars today. Some errors are small, like a coin being a little off-center. Others are huge, like a quarter being made on the wrong kind of metal. One of the rarest and most valuable errors is when a 1966 quarter was struck on the wrong type of blank, what's called a planchet. A normal 1966 quarter is made from copper and nickel. But one rare version was made using a silver planchet, probably left over from 1964. That coin looks a little different. It's shinier, it sounds different when dropped, and most importantly, it weighs a little more. That single mistake made it worth tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, one of those rare silver planchet 1966 quarters sold at auction for $88,000. That's 352,000 times its face value. Even more shocking, another 1966 quarter was found struck on a blank meant for a Roosevelt dime. Because dime planchets are smaller and thinner, the design on the quarter doesn't fit right, it looks squished or cut off. But collectors love rare mistakes like this. That coin sold for over $119,000. Imagine turning a single quarter into a small fortune just because of a tiny minting error that no one noticed for decades. There are also other valuable mistakes from 1966. Some quarters were struck on copper penny blanks. These coins look very different from normal quarters, they have a reddish color like a penny. They're also lighter in weight. These can sell for $5,000 to $15,000 depending on their condition. Then there are double-struck quarters. These coins were hit by the press twice, making the image on the coin look like it's overlapping or echoed. These can be worth a few $1,000s too. Another error to look for is off-center strikes. That means the coin wasn't lined up correctly when it was made. If the image is off to the side and the date is still visible, collectors will pay good money, sometimes $1,000 or more, and even higher if it's a clean example. All these errors happen because the mint was working fast and trying to meet demand, so some coins slipped through with mistakes. These are now treasures for collectors. So how can you tell if you have one of these valuable coins? First, check the date. You're looking for a quarter that says 1966 with no mint mark under the date. Then, weigh the coin. A normal 1966 quarter should weigh around 5.67 grams. If it weighs more like 6.25 grams, it might be made of silver. If it weighs less, around 3.1 grams, it might be made on a penny blank. You can buy a small coin scale online for very cheap, and it could help you find a coin worth tens of thousands. Next, look closely at the design. Does anything look off? Is the image not centered? Is it missing part of the design? Is it red like a penny or bright silver like the old coins? If something looks unusual, don't clean it. Cleaning can ruin the value. Instead, take it to a coin shop or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will look at the coin, give it a grade, and tell you what it's worth. People find rare coins in the most unexpected places. Some are found in coin rolls from the bank, others in inherited collections, and some people just happen to notice something strange in their pocket change. It's like a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. And the best part? These coins are already out there. You don't need to be rich to find one. You just need to be paying attention. This isn't just a fun hobby. It can be life-changing. Imagine finding one 1966 quarter that sells for $90,000. What would you do with that money? Pay off debt? Buy a car? Take a dream vacation? It's all possible with one small, forgotten piece of metal. And the best part is, you don't need to search for years. People have found valuable error coins by just checking a handful of quarters. So now that you know what to look for, go check your coin jar, your couch cushions, even your old piggy bank. Look for 1966 quarters and pay attention to their weight, color, and any weird-looking designs. You could be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Have you ever thought that a regular quarter could be worth more than your car? Maybe even more than your house. It sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Some 1979 Washington quarters have sold for $87,000, $99,000, and even up to a shocking $137,000. And the best part? These rare coins were found by normal people like you, just checking their change. So don't walk away, because by the end of this video, you'll know what to look for, and maybe, just maybe, you could find one of these treasure coins in your pocket. Let's start with the story of the 1979 quarter. In most ways, this coin looks totally normal. It has George Washington's face on the front, just like almost every quarter since 1932. On the back, it shows an eagle with its wings spread. In 1979, the U.S. Mint made over 1 billion of these coins at different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. That's a lot of quarters. So why is one of them worth nearly $140,000? It's because of a rare mistake, what collectors call an error coin. When coins are made at the mint, machines strike them very fast. Sometimes, a coin gets struck in the wrong spot or even struck twice. One of the most valuable types of errors is called a double strike, where the coin is hit 2 times by the press. But the second strike happens in the wrong place. It creates a wild-looking coin with part of the design in the wrong spot or even half missing. These mistakes don't happen often, and when they do, they're usually removed at the mint. But once in a while, one slips out. That's exactly what happened with the famous 1979 quarter. It had a huge mint error. The coin was struck off-center 2 times. It was also in amazing shape, graded MS-66, which means it was almost perfect. This quarter sold at auction for over $87,000. Yes, just one coin. And that's not the only one. Others with similar errors have sold for $99,000 or more. Some experts say the most extreme examples, ones with bigger mistakes, could be worth up to $137,000 or even more. But that's just the most famous one. There are other 1,979 quarters with mistakes that can still be worth big money. One example is called a broad strike error. That's when the coin is struck without the collar that holds its shape. So the coin ends up looking stretched out or wider than normal. These can sell for $100 to over $1,500 depending on how nice the coin looks. Another rare type is a clipped planchet. This happens when the metal blank used to make the coin is cut wrong, and a piece of the coin is missing. These quarters are easy to spot. They look like they've had a bite taken out of them. They can sell for $250 to $1,000 or more. There's also something called a double die error. This happens when the coin die, the part that stamps the design, is misaligned or doubled. That causes the letters and numbers to look like they've been printed twice. On the 1979 quarter, this can show up in the word Liberty or In God We Trust. If you have one with clear doubling, especially in good condition, you could be looking at $300 to $3,000. One of the rarest and most exciting errors is what's called a transitional error. That's when a coin is made with the wrong kind of metal. For example, if a 1979 quarter was accidentally made with leftover silver from earlier years or even a foreign metal, the value could skyrocket. Some of these rare types have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. If your 1979 quarter looks different in color or feels heavier or lighter than normal, it could be one of these special pieces. So how can you tell if you have one of these rare coins? First, look closely at the coin. Use a magnifying glass if you have one. Check if the design looks strange or if any letters or numbers look doubled. See if the coin is off-center or has a weird shape. You can also weigh your coin. A normal 1979 quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If it's heavier or lighter, that could be a clue. Also, check the edge. If it doesn't have those little ridges or look stretched, it might be a broad strike. If a piece is missing, it could be a clipped planchet. And don't forget color. If it looks silver but it's not supposed to be, you may have found something rare. If you think you found a special coin, don't try to clean it or fix it. That can ruin the value. Instead, send it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll check it, give it a grade, and seal it in a special holder. That way, collectors will trust it, and you'll get the most money when you sell. Still not sure this is real? Let's look at some real-life examples. One 1979 off-center double strike quarter, graded MS-66, sold for $87,187.50 at auction. Another unusual error, with a broad strike and multiple strikes, was estimated to be worth around $137,000. These coins were not found in treasure chests or museums. They were found by people checking their change, searching coin rolls, or cleaning out old drawers. So the next time you get a quarter in your hand, stop and look at it. That little piece of metal could be worth more than anything else you own. Don't let it slip by. Most people have no idea these errors exist, and they spend them without a second thought. This is your chance to be different. You now know what to look for. That rare 1979 quarter could be sitting in a coin jar, hiding in your car, or even in your wallet right now. Imagine turning 25 cents into $99,000 or even $137,000. That's life-changing money.